Cold open question of the week, Gary.
Yes, sir.
With the college football season upon us, what college football stadium would you like to visit for a game? Now, this can't be one you've already been to. And which opponent would you like to see the home team play?
Oh, okay. Well, there's all this hype now with, prime time. So I'd say let's go to Colorado. And let's see, I guess like Oklahoma or Texas.
Okay.
A game like that. So, yeah, I'll go with that.
I got you. I would, now I've been to the campus of Notre Dame and I've seen the stadium. I've peeked through it, like through the gate. I think I would like to attend a game at Notre Dame, and I would probably want to see them play either Michigan or Penn State. I think that'd be a fun game. Brian Lennon Show, episode 63. The one about wasting away in Margaritaville. College football kicks off. Labor Day fun, more mortality, and some fun with AI-generated images. All right.
Oh, boy.
Gary, you look, I have to just start by saying you look very smart tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have
last time I wore these when I wore these glasses to work, last time
you got promoted.
No, but my boss said, she's like, you look like a professor or something right today with those glasses on. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, you look very mature. Look like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say if you wore those to the office, I'd be like, oh, there's the CEO, obviously.
This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying the color of your shirt as well.
Thank you. It's like a salmon.
Mm-hmm. I think it goes along. Looks like you just stepped off the golf course, or you're maybe about to head, play a quick 9 maybe after balancing the books.
A little glow golf or something. Yeah, I'm ready. Been a while.
All right. Yeah. So Gary, as you know, the college football season kicked off this past weekend.
Yes.
And it seems like everyone is talking about Deion Sanders, the head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yep.
Who upset Texas Christian University this past weekend in really a thrilling game. I haven't watched a full college football game probably in 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And now I had recorded it and came back home to watch it. So I was able to fast forward through timeouts and commercials. But then I sat and watched the whole game. Eventually Jill came into the room and she sat and watched it with me.
Wow.
And started rooting. And I knew the outcome, but I didn't laugh. Then she started rooting for Colorado as well. And we got time watching the Buffaloes. It seems like everyone else in America did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, I didn't really get to watch that game. But I mean, like I said, I did get to see the highlights of it. So, and it was just funny because like we had just talked about in the other show about the whole, Colorado and everything, and actually, I think you might have been the only one that was actually, I think, picking Colorado to win that one. And
I was.
And it was from the highlights I've watched, it looked like it was a really good game. So
it was really good. I've been on the kind of Deion bandwagon since the beginning of last year, his third year at Jackson.
Yep.
And so kind of followed the Jackson football team last year and had a feeling he was going to be moving on at some point.
Yeah.
Which he did in December when he was named the head coach for Colorado. And so I've been, on board a bandwagon fan of the Buffaloes, though. Although, Gary, if you remember, back in the late 90s,
I was waiting. Yep.
You and I played a video game in one of our friends' bedrooms. I was Colorado. You were Michigan.
Yep.
And really from that point, I kind of was a Colorado football fan. I also love their uniforms with the black pants. I think black football pants just look great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I won that game that we played.
Yeah.
Which kind of started a whole years-long rivalry between you and I in video game football.
Yep. And I mean, I couldn't tell you what our records are, but I've won a few, I know. So
yeah, no, it was very evenly matched. I would run the option with Colorado.
Yep.
Which is tough to stop, and I ran it well, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it was annoying.
Yep. But now you seem to be frozen, but it might be me.
Oh no,
there you.
It was. I was
just lamenting your.
Looking at my. I had a text that came through, so I had.
Oh, okay.
Another football draft I have to do.
Now, Gary, I also heard, and typically we don't spend a lot of time discussing sports here on the Brian Lennon Show, but this will be a little bit of a different one. I also read my first rumor online this morning.
Oh boy!
About Deion Sanders going to the Cowboys eventually, if not this year, next year, after next season.
Oh man! I mean, well, I can't say it could be a stretch because Jerry Jones, after one win, he probably already locking him in for the next coach of the Cowboys. I could see that.
Do you think any?
I think I gotta wait to see how his season goes. I mean, yeah, he did really well at Jackson State, but I mean, you're not real. I mean, you're kind of those low divisions. So,
yeah, the only thing is, watching the game, his son Shador Sanders was very good at quarterback. Really made a bad decision. I don't know if he made a bad decision. No errors, no interceptions, no turnovers. Threw the ball out. He threw for over 500 yards. Crazy. He had 4 receivers with 100 yards apiece, which really it's unheard of.
Oh yeah, no.
So just the amount of tools that he's working with, it's something you don't usually see in a college football team.
Nope, not at all. No, I mean usually you have your standout quarterback, and then you might have one really good wide receiver, and then a couple just like guys that will catch the ball, and then you might have one really good running back, and then a lot of defense. But yeah, I mean, have all those receivers having 100 yards in one game. That's crazy. I don't think you'll ever. I mean, unless he does it again.
And their first game.
First game. And you're playing it, and you were playing against a ranked team too. It's not even like they were playing Southern Texas Christian or something like that. I mean, they were playing TCU, ranked at number 17. So I mean, yeah. And TCU was one of the Final Four last year, weren't they? Was it last year?
They were in the championship. They got blown out in the championship game, but
that's right.
Yes, they won.
Championship game. That's right. I can't remember if it was last year, but
now I know it's only one game.
Yep.
So there's still much to be seen. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is, do you think anyone called Deion Sanders or someone close to Deion Sanders who's affiliated with another Division I school to gauge his interest, say, for next season.
Oh, to leave Colorado already? I hope not. I mean, you don't want to be that guy that just jumps around. Like, you don't want to be a Kiffin, or just jumps around and goes to a school, because you think you're going to win something or you're going to, I mean, I like the way he was doing it. Started off in a small school, did his 3 years there. Now he's up into a Division I school, working that. I would say do another 2, maybe 3 years, get the program back up to where it is. See if you really are a legit coach, and then go from there. Then maybe you move on to the NFL, or you move to I mean, Colorado's not a low-end Division I school. I mean, they used to be top-notch in the day. I mean, it's been a very.
He had a few good years in the '90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while.
I think that's part of why he went to Colorado, was because there's not that kind of built-in expectation or boosters. Whereas if he went to, say, a Clemson or an LSU or
FSU,
a Texas A&M,
they originally
he would be competing with other outside influences. Whereas in Colorado, he has the run of the ship. He's the CEO and is able to bring in who he wants, at what price he wants, probably, with the NIL and all that stuff.
And I think the big, or what is it, Big 12 now, or whatever the heck, I don't know. I can't remember what.
Well, they're in the Pac-12 this year, but next year they'll be in the Big 12.
Oh, okay. But I mean I mean, you're going to jump into any division, that's a good one to get into right off the bat, because I mean, you got some decent teams, but it's one of the easier divisions that you could probably, pull off and get win a Pac-12 championship your first year. So, yeah, I mean, I know, like, I think what was it, FSU was one of them too that everyone talked about him going to, and but I don't know. I think even there was, I mean, that probably would have been another decent place to go to the ACC. I mean, you don't want to jump into SEC or Big Ten like your first year. You want to work your way into that stuff. You're gonna, really good.
Yeah. How do you think his coaching style would translate to the NFL?
I think I'd have to watch more of his game. Like I said, I didn't really got to see some highlights, so I'd like to see more what he does. Be able to answer that one, but I mean, can't be any worse than some of these other guys that went. I mean, look at Saban. Saban couldn't coach in the NFL to save his life, but in college, he is the god among gods in coaching. He is the GOAT, and that's, I mean, and then you got.
Yeah, I think
like Harbaugh.
College coach has
He had that decent year.
Harbaugh's been successful in both.
Yeah, so I mean, you just don't know. And I guess it also depends on what team he ends up going to. I mean, so if say he does go to Dallas, I mean, if he could bring in, I mean, like right now he took a bunch of kids from his school, was able to take them to Colorado with him. He's already coached them for how many years now?
Right.
So he already kind of knew their style. So I mean, now you're going into the NFL. I mean, you don't really get that option as much. I mean, you have your draft and everything, but you gotta. It's not like you could just say, "Hey, yeah, I'm bringing 28 of these kids with me, and they're gonna play for the Cowboys." That's not gonna work. So,
right.
But
yeah, it'd be interesting because the college coaches have a higher stature than the pro head coaches do.
Yeah,
because the players have to answer to the coach at the college level. Sometimes I think the players have more of a say than the head coach. But I think it would be interesting because I think he would relate well to younger players, which the NFL is dramatically younger than, say, 20, 25 years ago even. Yeah. And also, I mean, I think he won 3 Super Bowls one with the 49ers, two with the Cowboys, maybe. He's got rings.
Yeah.
So he's done it. He's done it at the highest level. He knows what it takes to win. So any guy in that locker room, you'd be a fool not to listen to him, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's proven that he can coach. I'll give him that. Like I said, I was never a big fan of him when he was a player. I just thought he was a little too cocky, and his ego was a little bit bigger than he thinks it is, or whatever. But as like so far from what I've seen as a coach, I'm like, all right, I can live with that, because he does seem like he's down to earth, and he is like he's not one of those guys where this is my team, this is how it's going to be. He seems more like hey, I'm you got a problem, you come talk to me, fix it. We'll get this going. And like he seems like he relates to his players, so that's sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah. All right, Gary. All this talk of college football. Why don't you tell listeners of the Brian Lennon Show about the yet another podcast that we're on?
Yeah. So we have just done our second show yesterday. The Tailgate Setup Show. Tailgate Setup Show. Sorry, not Startup.
Tailgators Setup Show.
Tailgators Setup Show. Yep, it will be on Substack. We'll also have it on. I don't know if he's moved it to Spotify. Has he? I think he's just on Substack right now. Right now, it's on Substack under John Crimella's account, which he is our resident expert in college football.
Yeah, John has appeared on the show twice or three times. I think he's been on already. Yeah, knows more about college football than he probably forgot more about college football than you and I ever knew combined. And I feel like I used to know a lot about college football. He's he can tell you the second string tight end on Auburn's team.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Not even that. He could tell you the second string tight end on Auburn's team in like 1980. So I mean, yeah, he's crazy about his college football. So, but yeah, so we've just started that. We had we're 2 episodes in, so gotta keep a listen out for that one. And we've been doing picks every week too, so we're gonna see how we do at the end of the year. So, be interesting.
Yep. All right, now this past
sports, that's the place to do it.
Yeah, if you want more sports, you can go to that podcast there. Gary, this past weekend, of course, was Labor Day, so it was an extended weekend for both you and I, 3-day weekend. I actually Saturday went up with Bernie to Keystone College to watch a college football game.
Oh, you ended up going? Okay.
Keystone was taking on Gallaudet, which is the school in Washington, D.C. for those that are hard of hearing or deaf, to watch their football team play. So that was fun.
Cool.
And then Sunday, the missus and I went up to our neighbor's house for her and her husband's annual Labor Day party. So we enjoyed some shenanigans up there.
Cool.
I got to be the DJ on the karaoke machine. So I got all the moms dancing at one point. And then yesterday we went to Lost River Cavern in Hellertown, Pennsylvania.
I have I don't know if they still live there, but I have relatives that are from Hellertown. On my grandfather, my mother's father's side. So McDaniels, I think, that lived. I'm sorry, Herjack Herjacks that lived down that way.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, no. Saturday we I went up to Rap because we missed Friday, so we went on Saturday, and it was funny as we got there, and there was like, I think 4 or 5 people inside, and then there were a group that was kind of like outside in the one section, and me and her were in the one section by ourselves. So I was like, I went inside, I was getting beer, and I'm like, oh, could I ask you to uh, turn the TV on outside and put on NBC because the Penn State game was going to be coming on. And she's like, actually, you know what? Here, just take the remotes. She goes, the box is behind the thing. Just usually you have to ask, to mess around with the TV, but we were there like almost every week. So she gave me the remotes. So I'm back there. I'm trying to get the thing to work. I couldn't get it to work. Finally, got it working. So, but there was like nobody. Like we were then the group started leaving, and it was just me and her for a little while. And then finally, like the girl that was behind the bar, she sent the one guy home because she was like, well, there's no need for him to stay here. There's like nobody here. And then right around, it had to be about like probably about 9 o'clock. Like all these people just showed up out of nowhere. So she had to call the guy back in to come in and help her. So
Really?
yeah. So I mean, that was our Saturday. Sunday we didn't. Sunday we didn't do anything. I think we sat around the house. We did our. No, we didn't do the show on Sunday. What else did I do Sunday? Nothing. I think we just sat around and did nothing. And then Monday we just sat around the pool. I grilled some steaks on the grill, and then we just hung out in the pool on. Actually, I think that's what we did at Sunday too. We were in the pool for a little while. But yeah, that was it. Nice, easy weekend. Lovely not having to do anything. So.
Now I want to show you, and this will be for people that are watching eventually on the YouTube page. Gary, where can people find the Brian Lennon Show on YouTube?
The Brian Lennon Show.
All right, so in the gift,
always one word, people. The Brian.
One word.
One word.
All right, Gary. So in the gift shop at this cavern place, okay, which smelled like a bowling alley.
Oh.
Okay, just to kind of give you a reference. Ruby's showing me, she holds up this keychain that says Stone Cold on it. I'm showing you here.
Yeah, all right.
So I go over. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I look at the tag. Actually, it's a WWF tag. And it's, still the original tag, WWF.
Yeah.
Stone Cold. Okay.
I guess.
They were 94 cents. So I'm always thinking of a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to some friends about eBay, selling stuff on eBay. So
yeah,
I'm like, let me see what these sell for on eBay. They're selling for about $9.94 or something.
Holy.
So I ended up going back. I bought one for me and one for Ruby. But then when I was outside Googling it on eBay, I saw they were selling for $10. I'm like, I'm going to go back and buy. There was 4 more left over. So I bought all 4.
See if you could sell them online. Yeah, there you go.
So it could be like $40.
Yeah.
Close to $40 for, $4 investment.
Crazy.
So, yeah. And I was like, wow, that has the WWF.
Yeah, that's some old school stuff.
So apparently one of the women who owns the shop, her husband had a store where he had all this inventory, passed away. So she said, the girl at the counter said, there's like a trailer full of all this like random stuff. So she doesn't want to throw it away. So just every once in a while, she'll just mark stuff for like $1 and bring it in just to sell it.
That's great. All right. Well.
So,
interesting.
Gary, have you ever sold anything on eBay?
I have not. No, I don't think I've ever sold anything on any I haven't put anything on Marketplace. Now it's funny is we always talk about having like a yard sale. I think we've done it twice since I've lived here, and other than that, we just don't have the time. We don't feel like just sitting out there, so we just throw everything out. And I probably should start throwing some stuff out there,
Yeah.
A little marketplace stuff. But sometimes that marketplace is a little sketchy. So it's like,
Yeah, I know. I have two friends who've sold stuff on eBay. Both of them are named Jason.
yeah, I was gonna say I know one too.
Shout out to Jason. And they seem to be able to do it, and they've talked to me about doing it. So I'm kind of talking with them to get some tutoring lessons, and I will let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, Gary. So, I was at work today thinking, what are we going to talk about on the podcast today? And honestly, after the weekend we had the loss of two, entertainers, singers. I think it was Saturday morning, we woke up to hear about Jimmy Buffett dying.
Yep. That's the other thing. I took the dog. Yeah, I had to take the dog to the doctor. That's when I got your text. Right after
and then I believe it was yesterday, it was announced Steve Harwell from Smash Mouth, the lead singer, passed away from liver failure. And then personally, on a personal note, a friend of mine who I worked with at Pearl Vision when I was managing the store there, her name is Tammy Walsh. She passed away Sunday morning. We got a text from one of my former coworkers that she had passed away. She was she was a year younger than me. So she was born in 77, so she was like 46 years old. And so I just kind of all weekend I've just been like,
yep,
it hits. And as anyone who listens to the show knows, over the last few months I've had a number of people I know that close to me die, and they're either not very old or they were like the picture of health and just go to sleep and don't wake up. And I don't know if it's like because I'm getting older, like I'm closer to 50 and people start going, you're like you start like thinking, geez, I only have there's only so much time that you have.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. When you were sending that stuff, because I think you had texted me about Buffett on Saturday morning, and then Jay actually sent the one about was it Harwell?
Steve Harwell.
To my other group text first, and then on that second group text, and I was like, "Gee!" And then then when you sent me the thing about them, and then your friend, I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "What the heck? This is crazy."
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about Jimmy Buffett. So, Gary, did you ever see Jimmy Buffett in concert?
No. So, and that was funny when you sent that. So, John, our other partner in the other podcast, huge Buffett fan. I mean, huge. He's seen him multiple times.
Huge.
That what was it? 2-3 years ago when we drove up to Savannah. That was the entire ride. Was the Jimmy Buffett station on Sirius XM.
Oh.
I mean, that was all we listened to. So I'm like, he's big fan. And I've always said, I'm like, I want to get to one of his concerts. All this time. And he played down here multiple times, like in Tampa, and actually not too long ago. But I was saying, I'm like, we gotta go, and then you hit this, and I'm like, so I sent the group after I heard from you. I sent it off to John and Paul, and I was like, oh, R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett, da da da. Like it sucks, and I'm not gonna be able to get to see him. Paul writes back, he goes, oh man, he goes, I really wanted to see him too. And then like a little while later, John's just like, OMG. And then he was just like, and that was all I heard from him for a little bit until we were talking on Monday. But so I'm like, I'm sure it hit him hard because he was a huge Buffett fan. So
now I'm not a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, but I'll be in the mood for Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
It's like,
and a few of his songs are very catchy and upbeat, and you just kind of feel in that mood.
Yeah.
Like, oh, especially like if you're by the pool or something or at the beach.
Right. Now, Gary, working in a grocery store like you have
Uh-huh.
for a number of years, you must be very familiar with Jimmy Buffett because the grocery store that I worked in most recently, um, Margaritaville was on a pretty solid rotation. And then also come Monday, which is probably my favorite
I
Jimmy Buffett song.
loved that song when it played in the store. And I never, and it was funny is, never knew it was Buffett for the longest time. But I just like it would just play, and I'm like, you were just singing it and you were going. Then finally, I don't know what happened, but then I think it was at one of the like bars or something like that, and someone started playing it or what, and I'm like, oh, this is Buffett. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, I love this song. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite songs that used to play in the grocery store. Was,
Yeah.
so.
And I watched the video Saturday after he had died. Because that's my favorite song. I'm like, oh, let me look up the video, see if there's a video. And there was.
Okay.
And his wife, who he was still married to up until, Saturday when he died or Friday night when he died, she is in the video.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look this up now.
And very attractive.
Oh yeah, I don't think I've ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, now I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, you never see or really hear. Like I never knew or anything about his.
Yeah.
I had a, if you told me Jimmy Buffett, how many wives does he have? I'd probably say, probably 4 or 5 over the course of, the last 50 years. He's been married to like the same woman since I think the early 70s.
You know what? I think the only thing about Buffett I know is his music. I don't even know if he had any kids, or I mean, I didn't even know he was married, but so I'm like, yeah. Now that you think about it, I'm like, I don't think you really ever heard much about his private life. I mean, here's music everywhere. I had no idea he was sick. I was like, you just haven't heard from him and stuff like that. And
yeah,
the other thing that John said too, and that was the other thing that he texted after that. He's like, he has a new album coming out in October.
Oh, perfect.
It was already he already had an album he was going to be releasing in October. So,
yeah. Well, I think he was on tour up until May, and then he had to come off the road.
Oh, okay.
But he was going to be up in Bethel. I think it might have been last year, because that's been like another concert I would like to go back to see was Jimmy Buffett, because I've seen him twice. I may have also just hung out in a parking lot and tailgated once. But it was like the best atmosphere for like tailgating at a concert, and that was why I wanted to go back. And I think he was here. I think he was here last year up at Bethel Woods in New York, and no one wants to ever go and go to a concert with me, so I ended up not going. Sadly, I'll never now get a chance to go.
Yeah, see, that's how I am too. Because I think he was just here. He was just here last year in Tampa, and then I think he was probably in Miami as well. But maybe it was Orlando or Miami. I can't remember now, but I know it was in this general area.
And it makes you wonder too. Like, I mean, he was worth $1 billion. Like, he had billions of dollars, and basically like lived the dream life. Like, he would just travel around the country playing gigs, making money hand over fist. But even that, like, your health is your wealth, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not healthy, you don't have anything. And you would think, with all the money he had, he would have been able to, extend his life or whatever. But, he obviously lived life to the fullest. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He was a son of a sailor.
Yes, he was. Now, one other question for you, Gary.
Yes.
Relating to Jimmy Buffett.
Okay. What do you got?
I believe you went to Margaritaville on your way back down to Florida after you were married?
I did the restaurant. Yep. Mm-hmm. I did. That's geez, that might have been the last time I was. Oh no, I'm sorry. We go to the Margaritaville over in at Universal Studios. There's one in there too. So and,
Okay. I've never been to one.
yeah, I mean it's not bad. I mean they're your typical like uh restaurant like that, like a Planet Hollywood or a whatever else the other ones there are. But yeah, it's not bad. I mean their drinks are pretty good. They actually just was it a year or two ago? I know John's already been there and he's already been talking about going back, but they opened up a Margaritaville resort in Orlando. And you could rent
Okay.
like these so like they have the resort where it's like a hotel. So I mean you can get like a regular room, but then they have like these little like cabana houses you could rent. And some of them have their own private pools and private like koozies and stuff like that. So and then my sister in law, she they just did it last year. I think they went for one of their friends' birthdays or something like that. So we talked
Okay.
about that.
All right. Back to so Smash Mouth
Mm-hmm.
and Steve Harwell.
That was a
Um, yeah. So he their first kind of hit was Walking on the Sun,
mm-hmm.
which of course, Gary, brings me back to the days at State College.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think that song came out the minute we like opened the front door of our apartments there.
Oh yeah. It was always on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was a big hit right at that time when we got down there. Didn't matter where you went, we were playing somewhere.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
then
either in concert.
and then 2 years ago, again, 2021, at Bethel Woods, there was an incident involving him. He was singing at like a wine festival that they have up there, and he was flipping the. He didn't sound very good. I think people were like booing,
Mm.
and then he was flipping them off with the bird,
Oh, jeez.
and then he ended up like doing like Nazi salutes and stuff. And that was his last show, was up here in Bethel Woods. Because I remember Chad from Portland Frank, I was working with him in the same department at the time.
Yeah.
And we were, kind of laughing and joking about it. Like, but I think that was actually a result of his illness.
Mm.
Because that, again, like after that show, he never performed again. And apparently has been struggling the last 2 years.
Yes, yeah, another one I didn't really know. I didn't realize. No. So, and it was funny is because even the photo that was sent, I had to take like I was like looking at it, I'm like I didn't really recognize the name. Then I'm looking at it, I was like,
Ugh.
and then I had like when I read on it, I was like, oh okay, now I could see it. I don't know if that was an older photo or a newer photo or something like that, but I just didn't like him. So, but crazy. I
All
mean,
right. Yeah. All right, Gary, I have a little quiz time for you.
woo! I love a quiz. All right.
All right. So between Jimmy Buffett and Smash Mouth,
Okay.
who has the song with the most streams on Spotify? And what song is it?
Oh,
So you have to tell me whether it's Smash Mouth or Jimmy Buffett,
yeah.
and what song is the most streamed on Spotify.
I want to.
And I don't want you looking it up.
I'm not.
I want to see your hands. Hands up.
I want to. Man, I feel like this is a trick question. I want to say Buffett, and I want to say it's got to be Margaritaville.
All right. And would you like to take a guess as to how many streams it's been played on Spotify?
It's got to be a couple. I'd say 4 million.
4 million. All right, Gary. Now I want you to take your left hand,
Okay.
and I want you to hit the whammy button.
Ah.
Thanks for playing, Gary. We have some beautiful parting gifts for you.
Oh, man.
The number one song is actually All Star by Smash Mouth.
Okay. See, I knew
And
it.
again, I am not good with math, but I'm going to try and read this number.
Okay.
954,629,114. As early as 2:00 this afternoon
Jeez.
when I looked it up. The closest Jimmy Buffett song, Gary, is actually a duet with, I believe it's Toby Keith. It's 5:00 somewhere.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Oh no,
That
that's
only.
Is it Toby Keith or Alan Jackson? I think it is.
Yes, you're correct. Alan Jackson. I know it was a tall guy with a mustache.
Yeah. Man, see, I knew it was a trick question. I just didn't realize there was that many Smash Mouth fans out there.
And that song has streamed 237,264,212 times.
Okay.
Margaritaville, only a little over 150 million streams only.
Yeah. See, I mean, I figured that was the one because I mean it's the but then I'm like, after I had said it and you whammied me, I was like, I'm like, I think that song is just probably just so overplayed that people just don't want to listen to it anymore. So,
yeah. So
ended up.
I was surprised that
that
All Star had so many streams and so many more than.
Yeah. And it's funny because like
even like Jimmy Buffett's top two songs combined, he's like they're more like than double that.
When you mentioned the first song that Walking on the Sun, I forgot about All Star because I'm like they're the only two that I actually really know from Smash Mouth. So that's why I was surprised that they have that many people that are. I mean, unless people are using it for like walk-up songs for little kids' baseball teams and stuff like that, and that could be the reason why it's so much.
Could be.
Oh, I should have done ASMR for your podcast.
Oh. All right, thank you. My lovely assistant here is to bring me another drink.
Oh, that's nice.
One other passing. Well, another passing, Gary,
What?
that I found out today. Also named Gary.
Oh.
Gary Wright from Dreamweaver.
Okay.
You know that one.
Dreamweaver.
I believe that was in Wayne's World too. That was.
Yes.
I believe they used it there.
Huh? Yeah. I think it was.
Apparently, he passed away the last 2 days.
Oh,
so, R.I.P. to Gary Wright.
I'm a little love.
And then Gary, like I mentioned, my friend Tammy. I want to talk a little bit about Tammy. When I was working as the manager at the Pearl Vision in Wilkes-Barre, Tammy would come in to shop.
Okay.
And she would, look at frames because we had like all the high-end, like Coach, Michael Kors, all the high-end frames. And Michelle, who was, basically my assistant manager there, they would get talking because they would love, talking about all the different styles and trying on. And she would come in like once a week. And then, then we would look forward to like when she would come in. And then, she would stay for a half hour and talk and all this stuff. And we, found out that she actually worked from home and she didn't. So then she liked kind of coming out because it would give her some interaction and stuff.
Yeah.
With other people. So the one day I'm like, well, why don't you come work here? You can work evenings and then, weekends. And she's like, no, I don't, I couldn't do it. I don't know anything about optical. I'm like, well, I'll teach you, come on. So she ended up coming on and, I trained her and she kind of just fit in right in with the team that we had.
Mhm.
Had a great relationship with our doctor too, who passed away about 2 or 3 years ago. And so, but she was just like a light, like when she walked in the room, just the kind of the mood or the atmosphere changed and everything became lighter,
Yeah.
happier. And so, it was very sad to hear of her passing. So,
Now,
thoughts and prayers to.
was she sick or?
Not that we knew of, not that I know of, so.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
you never know.
Nope. Not at all.
All right, let's lighten things up here, Gary.
Okay.
Just real quick, the what? No.
I jumped.
We're not gonna lighten things up that light yet.
Oh, stop.
Trick. Itchy. Oh, itchy.
Oh my lord. What's happening?
What's happening? All right, the NFL season is kicking off Thursday, Gary.
What's it? NFL's kicking off? Yes. Oh my God! Stop playing already. Mackerel. Yes, kickoff Thursday.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Just
I'll give you a few minutes to talk about the NFL.
It's football again. I feel like it's weird. Like it used to be like it ended in February, and then you had that long wait till August for the football. But now it just seems like it's like it ends in February, and then all of a sudden it's football again. Like it's just flies by now. So it's like, but no, I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to a new season. New England, we have ourselves a real offensive coordinator again. So I'm hoping that Mac Jones could play a little bit better than he did last year. Actually have someone that knows how to call plays on offense.
You're talking about the Patriots for people
Yes.
who are listening who don't.
The New England Patriots. They got Mr. O'Brien back. So, but no, like I said, I like playing the fantasy football. So it gives you something else to do during the week while you're trying to get your lineup set and everything. So, but yeah, football's back.
Now, I had 2 stories over the past week or so. My daughter Lucy is working at the local Primanti Brothers,
Okay.
which is like a Pittsburgh-based bar.
Yes.
And then the V Spot, which I've been to for the Portland Franks show. Understand that it's a few $1,000s now, probably like over $10,000 for those establishments to carry NFL games. Like I guess if it's like a corporate or a corporate NFL ticket package.
Oh, okay.
And so they're saying like, please come out because it's costing us so much to carry every game.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. Do you go out a lot to watch NFL games?
I don't. I had Sunday ticket for a while. Now I just have my cable that I.
Russia.
That's the button. But no, if we're like going out somewhere, I'll be like, all right, let's like say like when we're in Orlando, we go over like to Disney or something like that. And on Sunday, we'll usually either try to hurry up to get back, or we're in Disney Springs. So what we'll do is we'll find like they have towards the back end, they have a bowling alley called Splitsville, and they have all the games on there. So a lot of times we'll go in, maybe we'll just sit at the little bar outside, or we'll go inside and sit at one of the tables and catch the games. But yeah, most of the time I'm usually home watching the games. I'm not really out about for it. So
yeah, I'm wondering how many people actually go out to watch games because one, your TV now is like a theater.
Oh yeah.
And you've spent money on that. You're probably, if you're serious enough, are spending a few $100s for the NFL ticket or the Red Zone. And then just the cost of eating out nowadays.
Oh God,
you could buy a whole 6-pack for what it would cost you to buy one beer out at a bar.
No, I said we've gone to a couple the Wing House places or what was it, Buffalo Wild Wing. We've been there a couple times, but that's if we were out and about doing something, and then we're oh we'll stop here and just grab something and watch a little of the game before we go home or something. Or, but yeah, I think it's more of it's the people that don't have cable anymore or don't have didn't purchase any of the Sunday tickets or whatever. They're the ones that are still going out, and it's those people too that, because you got to think about it too. If you don't have the Sunday ticket and you just have your regular cable, so now you got what, CBS and Fox on Sunday, so you have one game, and it may not even be your team. It's going to be either Tampa Bay or possibly Miami, maybe a Jacksonville game. I mean, so it's usually your region that they're only playing near you. So yeah, if you don't have Sunday ticket or Red Zone, you're most likely that person that's going out to the bar watching football on Sunday. Now, like I said, Thursday nights when I used to go out, we'd try to find a place that if the game was on. But other than that, if it's a game I don't really care about, I'm whatever.
Yeah, you don't care. All right. Well, I care about the news, Gary. So let's get some news. And now it's time for Gary's News of the Weird with your host, Gary McDaniel.
Yeah.
And live from our safe newsroom in Tampa, it's Gary McDaniel.
All right.
Gary, what's news?
All right. I got stories sent to me again, so we're going to read them. Airplane crashes during gender reveal party, killing pilot. San Pedro, Mexico. A pilot died during a gender reveal party when his plane crashed after dispersing pink smoke in the air above the gathering. A video posted online shows a couple standing in front of a large lit-up sign reading "Oh baby," before capturing the pilot flying low to the ground while releasing the pink smoke above the pair in San Pedro, Mexico. Just after flying over the couple, the plane's left wing quickly snapped and the aircraft spiraled out of control and crashed in a nearby field. Partygoers were seemingly unaware of the accident, heard screaming and cheering for the expecting parents as the plane went into a tailspin. The pilot, identified as 32-year-old Luis Angel N., was rescued from the wreckage of the aircraft by Red Cross paramedics, who transported him to a hospital in serious condition. According to the local news outlet, he later died in the hospital. The reason for the accident is unknown.
Now, talk about getting a pink slip.
Oh, wrong one.
Gary, have you been to a gender reveal party?
Yes.
What did they do to reveal the gender of this child?
Actually, I set it up for them. It was Mandy.
You're the architect of a gender reveal.
Well, they set it up. I knew the gender. So what they did was they had two mini Christmas trees. The one was all in pink, one was all in blue. Pink lights, blue lights, different decorations, Mandy and them with their Christmas stuff. They're crazy about it. And so mine was I had to plug in the both of them, but then only one of the power strips actually had power. So it was what the baby was going to be is the one that had the power. So and it was when they had Brady.
So this is for your in-laws.
Yep, my nephews. Yep. Mm-hmm. That I think is the only one I've ever been to. I've not been to another one.
Gender reveal parties weren't a thing like, especially when we were having Joseph and Lucy, we didn't have gender reveal parties.
Gender reveal was when the doctor had the thing, and they're like, "Oh, that's a boy," or "Oh, it's a girl."
Well, I mean, Jill and I knew what we were having.
That's yeah. We
but we didn't make it a show of it or a spectacle.
No, that was even I think that really happened after even we had Colin too. So I don't even know when they originally started, but they're starting to get a little out of hand.
Yes, agree.
You have someone dying now during a gender reveal. That's
yeah. And now you planned that gender reveal?
No, well, they planned it. They put it all together. They set it all up. I just had to set it up. So I had the envelope.
Did they know?
No, they had no idea.
But you knew.
I was the only one who knew when I was setting it all up. So I set everything up for them. They did the decorations. They had the 2 trees set up. Shannon set all that.
So you had to make sure the right one had the right power.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I had the envelope. I had to open it up, so I knew what they were having before them, and then I went and I set the plugs up, and then when they revealed it, they clicked the button and the blue tree lit. So.
And how many people were at this gender reveal?
It was us. It was me and Shannon and Colin and Mandy Bloom, Patty and Johnny, and then they had some people online, like on FaceTime, like they're on Peggy.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it wasn't like a huge like a big party. It was just we were happened to be over there. They were going to do it, so we're like, all right, fine.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't been to any others. I see a bunch of them online, and I just sometimes I'm
they're all over the place. They're revealing and revealing.
Ridiculous. It's getting crazy. Crazy. Speaking of crazy, was an alien photographed casually strolling along a river in Bolivia. An insane claim about an alleged alien is coming out of Bolivia, but does it pass a sniff test? The Outkick readers know chatter about UFOs and aliens is perhaps the hottest topic in America these days. Interest exploded to a new level when whistleblower David Grush claimed during a congressional hearing non-human biologics had been recovered. He didn't get into further details. Read into it as much as you'd like, but that certainly leaves the door open for speculation the government has alien bodies. Well, there's a new claim out of Bolivia, and it is downright nuts. A photograph has surfaced that allegedly shows a partially transparent alien walking along the Pilcomayo River in Tarija, Bolivia, according to The Sun. Yes, you just read that sentence correctly. The photo, which can be seen in the video below, which I will pop up later, allegedly shows an alien on a relaxing walk. The Sun-related UFO experts are analyzing the photo to determine whether or not it's real. I want to be clear that I'm not wrong about stuff all the time. Just because I speculate on something hardly means my word is law. Having said that, I don't buy that this is all, not one bit. I'm very open-minded on subjects involving the paranormal, UFOs, aliens, and things that generally can't be explained. It's important to understand just how little we fully understand about the universe we live in. So, yeah. Let me click this.
And Gary, our audience loves UFOs and alien talk, so
let's get on this. So this is the photo that they're talking about right there. So yep, just taking a little walk around, hanging out in Bolivia, getting some sun.
It definitely looks like some sort of figure.
Yeah, I mean you could see it there, and then like blown up, but I mean.
But then you wonder, is it just the way the shadows are hitting or something, the rock formations?
Real skinny kid walking down the beach. I mean, but yeah. Crazy about aliens. And that, my friends. His news and the weird.
All right, Gary. So I was playing around Substack earlier today, and they have a section here, like under the images, where you can add, like, my picture. Usually, I add pictures to my stories or the podcast here. And there's a section called Generate. So I'm like, I'll press on that. And you basically can type in a word, a category, or something, and it will generate a picture for you.
Okay.
AI generated, I guess. So I put in pro wrestling.
Yeah, that photo you sent.
And now this picture will be available on the Substack page. So if you go to thebrianlennonshow.substack.com, you'll be able to see this picture that we'll be talking about here.
And I believe you sent it to me, so
I did.
I could bring it up right now.
And you have it. You have it there. So people who are watching on our YouTube page will be able to see it.
So you sent me this email. I opened it up, and I was like, "What in God's name is this supposed to be?" I was like, I'm like, "Is this like special wrestling?" Or I was like, they look like they're like conjoined twins.
Yeah, it's weird. So there's a person wearing like black pants, no shirt.
Yeah.
And they're behind or beside this figure, let's call it that, which seems to have one leg.
That's so weird.
And the one leg has like a black garter belt, almost like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. But then above that, this person is not clothed. And so it looks sort of obscene.
There's like two big giant lips here or something. Almost looks like.
But you can't make out either of their faces are like crazy looking.
Like it looks like he's wearing cat ears of some sort with that long red hair. And then like what's going on in the background there? Is that supposed to be something?
Yeah, there's someone like leaning up against the rope. Looks like it might be a cameraman or I don't know, a cut man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so.
I was like, that's a fail.
Yeah.
Have you tried to do anything with AI generation, Gary? Like,
that's funny you say that. So I was at work last week, and I was putting together an email. Now, when it comes to my, I guess my writing skills for emails, they're not. My skills for emails are done. Yes.
Will do.
Will do.
Thank you.
Got it. So
Received.
Mine's more like when you're like IMing someone. That's how or texting. That's how I do my email. So I was crafting an email together, sending it to my boss so she could read it over, and she's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Chat? Was it GPC or something like that?"
GPT.
I was like, "No." So she pulled it up and she was showing me. I was like, "Oh." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "This is pretty cool." I'm like, "Man, I wish I knew this when I was doing my schoolwork." So I used it the one day. I signed up and I went on. I wrote, "Please write me a professional email with what I had below or whatever," and I just copied in the email that I was going to originally write, and then boom, like this fancy worded email comes popping out. I'm like, "Ooh," I like this. I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna have to use this more often." So yeah, wrote me a beautiful email. I'm like,
now, did you proofread it?
I did. Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, because Because some newspapers have been using AI generated game stories
Oh, really?
to horrendous results. Yeah.
Oh. No, I read through the whole thing because I was like, because I wanted to make sure it made sense too. Because like I'm like, I
Right.
don't want to just like throw my words in there and then have them like generate this whole thing and then like people get it and they're like, what the heck is he trying to say? So I read through the whole thing. I was like, well, okay, use some fancy words and so I was like, I'm like, all right, but yes, everything looked right. I
So,
mean, I don't know
so
about
your experience has been positive.
So yes, I mean, so the one I did it was nice, but I haven't played around with it again since then. So that was the one and only time. But and then like yeah, I don't think haven't done the only other random things I do like if I'm on was Snapchat or something like that. There'll be like AI whatever generated anime or something like that, and you click it, it turns you into like an anime character or whatever. But
Oh, okay.
a couple things like that, but nothing. Yeah, nothing where there's been just a mush of people getting together.
A mush of people. Oh, all right. One other quick note before we go, Gary. I have started my Oktoberfest. I've started curating my Oktoberfest playlist for the fall here.
Okay.
That's available on Spotify.
I just bought my Sam Adams fall variety pack the other day when we went to the grocery store. So ready for my games.
Very nice. Now, one of the bands I have two songs from this band on the October 23 playlist, or Oktoberfest 23,
Okay.
is Geese, which I wanted you to listen to because I think you would like them.
So it was funny is because I couldn't remember what you said. I had to go back. Like I still didn't go back and look, but I couldn't remember if you said they were kind of like a country. But then, like, I started listening to it, I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, what in God's name is going on here? Now it was like almost like into like hard metal music mixed into, and I was like, but that was the one song I had on.
Yeah, their songs are kind of all a little bit different, but two of them remind me of kind of like a 70s type band.
Okay.
Which almost like a Scissor Sisters, if
Hmm.
you remember them from like the early 2000s, kind of like an Elton John, like
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah,
almost like a variety band.
I looked them up on Spotify and I just started hitting play. First one came on, and I'm like I said, it started out. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's not bad. And then it like just all of a sudden like just went into like another direction. I'm like, what in God's name is going on here? And then I tried playing one of the other songs too, and then I was like again, and I'm like, okay, it's a little country-ish too, but I'm like, didn't sound too bad. Well, yeah, I have to go back in and re-listen to some more stuff.
Yeah, the two I have on the playlist is 3D Country, which I believe is the name of the brand new album, and then the other one is called I See Myself.
Okay,
so
all right, I'll look those up. Yeah,
but if you go to Oktoberfest 23 on Spotify, look up my name, Brian Lennon, you'll see the playlist being curated, so you can follow it and like it and listen to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember which. Tomorrow's Crusades is the one I was just re-listening to, but it was man, what the heck was it called? There they are. I think it was the oh no, Tomorrow's Crusades I think was the one that was the crazy one. Like all of a sudden I'm like, what is happening here? And but yeah, then there was a couple other ones I was looking at. The Cowboy Nudes. Like, oh, I gotta listen.
I think I've heard that song.
But yeah, gotta go back in and re-listen to it.
Yeah, check out the new album, 3D Country.
Yep, that's what I was on.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for tonight. Guess who's still up, Gary?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yep, he's up.
Oh, my.
Went to bed an hour and 15 minutes ago.
Oh.
And there he is.
Don't you have school tomorrow?
Wide awake.
Don't you have school tomorrow? Mm-mm.
All right. I'm your host, Brian Lennon. For my co-host, producer extraordinaire, Mr. Gary McDaniel. Have a good week. Gary, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate my hair tonight?
I'm going to go with a good 6 tonight.
Oh, it's not bad. I'll take a 6.